This conference will now be recorded.
Yesterday, we have discussed about the third chapter from Siddhisthana, that is of Basti Sutriya Adhyaya. And before that, we have seen the importance of the Siddhisthana also, that this Siddhisthana has developed or guided us the detailed protocol of Panchakarma treatments, that is the standard operating procedures. Now today, we will go for the fourth chapter from the Siddhisthana, that is Snehavyapat Siddhi. Now Snehavyapat Siddhi here is nothing but, it's not about the Snehan Prakriya, but it is about the Sneha Basti. Sneha Basti means the Basti or the medicated enema of medicated oils or plain sesame oil or the oil with some other mixtures. We call it as Anuvasan Basti also. Okay, so we'll go in detail for this chapter now. First of all, in this topic or in this chapter, management of complications of Sneha Basti, that is anxious in Snigdha Dravya enema therapy is described. Now, this chapter deals with various kind of Sneha Basti. As well, the complications are produced if the management is also described there. So for this, Sneha Basti formulations, their clinical applications, reasons for Sneha Basti occlusion or obstructions, then symptoms of impediment means avritatva, elements caused by administration of Basti on empty stomach, their treatment, and lastly the Matra Basti, that is the practical way of giving Sneha Basti, have been explained in detail in this fourth chapter, that is Snehavyapat Siddhi Adhyaya. Now, vitiated doshas, excess food, and stools are responsible for obstruction, and empty stomach administration leads to improper movement of Basti. Now, do you remember, or one point we have to keep in mind here, that the Sneha Basti or Anuvasana Basti is always advised at full stomach. Means it is that the person or the patient has to take food before and immediately he has to take Sneha Basti or Anuvasana Basti. So this is important, and that's why many of the times this point is missed, and that's why empty stomach administration, that complication is there in most of the patients. And we don't know that how the reactions or the vyapat are there, and we don't know that we should we have done the mistake, and that's why the patient is facing the problem. So that is again a Vaidyakrut vyapat. Now, liquid, hot, light, wholesome food, and warm water use have been suggested for avoidance of these complications. Next, continuous excess use of Anuvasan and Niruva is to be avoided as they cause Utklesha, Agnimanda, then Vata Prakop, respectively. That means we are going to study in our previous future slides in detail. This is just what this topic is explaining, that we are talking about. That continuous Anuvasan Basti or continuous Niruva Basti also one should avoid, because it will create the complication. Then lastly, Matra Basti, that is similar to the lowest stage of foliation, that is Sneha, can be used in any season with no dietary restrictions. That's why the Matra Basti can be, advised daily. Okay, there are no restrictions for diet and behavior, especially. It indirectly means that for Anuvasan Basti, for Niruha Basti, very strict dietary and behavior regime that person has to follow. Then and then only the results will be there. Okay, now we'll go to the chapter directly. Here, first of all, details of schedule, important and symptoms of proper and improper Basti administrations, indications, contraindications, elaborated Basti procedure, and Niruha Basti formulations are explained in earlier 3 chapters. Now see, the first one is Kalpana Siddhi, second is the Panchakarmiya Siddhi, third is the Basti Sutriya Siddhi. In these chapters, mostly we have discussed, especially about Bhakti Sutriya, just previous chapter, it is mostly guiding about the Nirupa decoction type of enema. Now, much description about Sneha Bhakti is not there at all. Okay, and that's why this chapter is dedicated for the Sneha Bhakti or Anuvasan Bhakti. Thus, in the sequence, the present chapter is described to put forward some Sneha Bhakti, we can say anxious enema. So, anxious word is simple, we can say oily, but oily is not always the it indicates oily word indicates only oil. It can be ghee, it can be vasa, it can be no fat like that. So that's why anxious enema formulations. In order to fulfill the purpose of Siddhisthana, to give excellence therapeutics, the complications arising due to some improper methods need to be tackled. It doesn't mean that every time we will get 100% the same SOP we will follow. Even though by mistake from patient side, from doctor side, maybe from paricharak side, we have to manage the complication. And that here, the guidelines for the management of the complications of the Snehavasti are detailed, described here. Vitiated dosha, fecal matter, indigestion are some factors that occlude the basti, and empty stomach administrations lead for the improper movement of the fats, that is the oil, medicated oil which we have administered to basti. Moreover, due to busy work schedule, improper dietary habits, and debilitating disorders, most of the patients are unsuitable for Anuvasan or Sneha Basti. Now see, in such individuals, if Vata vitiation is evident and need Basti therapy, then use of Sneha Basti in lowest dose, that is the Matra Basti, can be employed without any complications. Means if you are not sure that the patient or the person can follow the restrictions, instead of saying restrictions, the regime of Basti, that is the dietary and behavior things, then we should always better to guide or go for or advise for Matra Basti. That is the best thing actually. Okay, so this is the practical approach of Charaka Samhita or Siddhisthana. That if this is not possible, then they have made it very easy that you should go for Matra Basti. So that is the practical approach of Ayurveda. And many times the people do discuss, or even the scholars of Ayurveda do discuss that Ayurveda is not able to follow day to day. So it's not true. We can follow it, and very easily the science or the Ayurveda has given solutions for practical things also. First of all, prayojan of this chapter. Sneha Basti Nibodhema Vata Kapapaha Mithya Pranihitanam cha Vyapadaha Sachikitsitaha. So this is the prayojan or aim and objects of this chapter. Anxious enema, that is Sneha Basti formulations for attenuation of Vata Pitta Kapha, that means balancing, possible complications arising from improper administration, and their treatments will be discussed. Now, first of all, here Sneha or Anuvasan Basti for Vata Dosha vitiation are given. Now, see, very synchronizing, very chronologically, the things are explained. First, the Anuvasan Basti for Vata vitiation, then for Pitta, then for Kapha, like that. It is the general common scenario it is described. So these are not the complications, but the recipes to balance certain problems or to cure certain problems that is described first. and then afterwards the complications and its management is also described. Okay, so this is the first recipe which you are seeing now in present slide. That is the Bilwadi Basti, we can say, like, because we are starting with the Bilwa herb. This is the Bilwa, Shona, Gambhari, Patala, Ganikarika, Shalaparni, Krishnaparni, Pravati, Kantakari, Mokshu. So these are the Dashamula. Next to that, Bala, Ashwagandha, Punarnava, Gunchi, Rasna, Erenda, Bhutikta, then Bharangi, Vasa, Rohish, that is the one type of grass, Shatavari, and Kakanas. These herbs, one pearl each. Afterward, Yava, Masha, Adasi, Kola, and Kulatha. These are two pala each. Water 4 drona. Sesame oil 1 adaka. Milk 1 adaka. Kalka of Jivak, Rishabhak, Meda, Mahameda, Kakoli, Shirakakoli, Mudgaparni, Mashaparni, Jivan. Now you can see here easily that there the Jivaniya Varga or Ashtavarga is there mainly. So how to decide this recipe? So you can say, no, for recipe first, for Vata, you can say Bil Dashamula, then Kolokulatha, these main ingredients, sesame is there, milk is there, and Ashtavarga. That decoction you have to get. Some ingredients, while writing the paper, you may forget, but we have to recite it or memorize it with the Gana, which we have studied in Dravya Guna Shastra, that is the Mishura Gana. Okay, that is it. For example, Dashamura, Jivaniya Varga or Ashta Varga, like that. You see, decoction of all those herbs mentioned in these drugs should be prepared using 4 drona of water and boiling it till 1 drona is remained. That means the 1/4 of the quantity. So again, if the decoction is ready, then add paste of above mentioned herbs again, then 1 adaka of sesame oil and milk. Oil prepared with this method can be used for all vata disorders in Anuvasan form. Now see, we most of the time say that Charakastu Chikitsite, and I am no, very confidently saying that no one preferring this prescription of Charakachari himself from Charaka Samhita for balancing Vata dosha. Okay, so there are always chances for being a classical practice. Sorry. Recipe second. So this is again Hanumasan Basti prepared from Vasa, sorry, that is the muscle fat of the animals, marcin and boiled with the drugs like Jivaniya Gana, you know the Jivaniya Gana, then Madhuka is Yashti, cures the Vata disorder. This is the second recipe for Vata disorders. Then the third one is again the medicated oil of cooked from Shatavaha, Yava, Bilva, and sour liquids is also used for Anuvasa. Next to that, warm ghee prepared by immersing hot rock salt relieves disease caused by Vata. Now see, actually in this slide there are two recipes, third and fourth. Okay, that is the warm ghee. Just put rock salt in it and use it immediately. Now, how practical Ayurveda you expect? This is the very many of the people, many times the doctors which are practicing in the rural area, they do say no, in Ayurveda medicines are not available here, herbs are not available here. Very easily you can go with these recipes, like cow ghee with rock salt. Now next is pitta disorder, Snehavyapat. Okay, so whatever pitta disorders. Now, what are the pitta disorders? I will not repeat it. We will go directly into the ingredients. Cow ghee, sesame oil, and milk. And kalka, again, you can see here the Jivaniya Varga is there, as well as Shakhi, Shravani, Swagupta, Vacha, Madhuka, Shatavaha, Bala, and Rishabha. Now, Shatavaha, that is Balan Shepa, is such a herb that it is almost used in every kalka, every recipe as a kalka dravya, because it is digestive and very much making that recipe very light for the digestion. Or in other words, we can see it accelerates the absorption of Basti Dravya in the rectum or colon and colon. Now next is cow ghee and the oil should be taken 1 part each and cooked with milk 4 times along with above mentioned paste of earth. Altogether 1/4 of the snail. Okay. Now the properties of this recipe are nourishing, it elevates vata as well pitta, increases the strength, the shukra, that is female, and agni. Also, it cures diseases of the urinary, seminal, and menstrual origin. Now, this is the speciality of this recipe. That is, it is acting on the Shukravah Srotas also. So, in the cases of sterility or infertility, this recipe must be used. Okay. So, this is Snehavyapat. Now, the clinic, whichever Ayurveda clinic you are observing, most of the times they go for Snehavyapat, not Siddha Sneha, but they go for plain sesame oil most of the time. And that's why the results are not as much as we are expecting. So, Siddha Sneha recipe are given here and that we should follow. Cow ghee should be taken 1 part, sesame oil 1/4 of the ghee, contents of the Chandanadi tel, which is mentioned in the Jwara Chikitsa of Siddhisthana chapter 3, should be taken 1/4 quantity of total Sneha and cooked with milk 4 times of Sneha. Now next to that is for kapha disorders now. The recipes are advised here. Now see here, not directly sesame oil is prescribed first, castor oil is prescribed. And in pitta disorders, the ghee was there, either as an ingredient or separate one basti dravya. Now Kalka, Arsenda, Rivera, Pushkar, Ativisha, Achmoda, etc. So Anuvasan Basti prepared with these mentioned ingredients cures the kapha disorders. Vratna, that is the inguinal enlargement. Udavarka, Gulma, Arsha, Liha, Neha, Adhyavata. Adhyavata, that is the vata avrute or obstructed with meda, that is the fat. So this Adhyavata, that the fatty patients which do always used to say you that doctor, I'm not eating too much, I'm following the exercise schedule also, but I'm not reducing or decreasing my weight, so what should I do? In that case, that is vataja samprapti, obstruction is there, and that's why this oil should be preferred for those fatty patients. It is not like that only lekhaniya basti or niruha basti you should go always for weight reduction therapy. That Anuvasan basti, due to increase vata, the weight is increased. In that case, you have to use this recipe. Anaha Ashmari, that is the urinary calcula. Okay, and one more recipe is described here. We will not go in much details with it. Now, say in general, now this was about Vata, Pitta, Kapha disorders. What you have to do, Sneha Basti. That the large scope of these recipes are prescribed here, and we are almost covering every problem with this recipe. Until and unless you will use, when you will use in your practice, then and then only you will get confidence over these recipes. Okay, we can speak because in our Ashtanga Ayurveda hospital, in our students hospital, we have tried those things and the recipes are tremendous useful, we can see. Effects of Sneha Basti, in general, it gives strength who are emaciated due to disease, excessive exercise, labor, excessive walking, loss of oja, and loss of shukra, that is the semen. Now, this shukra is not only about purusha, but Stri shukra also. Gives great strength to the feet, calves, thighs, back, shoulders, and lumbar region. Useful to procreate offsprings. That means it is good for santati, we can say prajana, to sterile men and women. So very lessly we are using the Snehavyapat for infertility problems. So friends, we have to observe those lines of Charaka Samhita, that is, it is useful to procreate the offspring. Okay. So in general debility, Sneha Basti can be used, these recipes can be used in Matra Basti form also, or Matra Basti style also. Okay. Now see complications now. After giving guidance about the recipes and its utility in various disorders, Charak Samhita describes us about the complications of the Sneha. Now these are that occlusion, that is Avritatva, by Vata, Vatavrita, Pittavrita, Kaphavrita, Annavrita, and Purushavrita. It is like that. So administration of enema in empty stomach, this is the sixth one. So six vyapat are described here. Now next to that, we will see about the things. Factors responsible for the complications of Sneha Basti. Not every time we can say the recipe is responsible, but how we give the Basti, or in what form, whether less dose, whether more dose, or whether more hot or more we can say cool. Like these are the things which makes the complications of the Basti. So the first one, if Basti preparation is too cold or less than the therapeutic dose and gives in Vata dominant patient. That means less dose and cool things. Now I should not say you are now third year students, so that the cool property will increase the cool property of Vata, and instead of balancing Vata, it will provoke or vitiate Vata dosha. If hot Basti is given in Pitta dominant patient, now see the hot property will increase what? If we logically think about Ayurveda, to explain or to think it is very, very easy. It's not so much hard and fast thing that how we can interpret the things. A very easy science, that is the Ayurveda science, but if fundamental principles are clear. That means Dravya Guna Karma Siddhanta. Or we can say that the Guna and Karma, Ashraya Shri Bhav, lives with the Dravya, like that, Padartha Vigyan. We can easily, logically explain the patient, our society, as well as the students also. If Basti prepared with Guru drugs is given in a patient who is already overeaten, if Basti of mild nature is given in patient having stool accumulation, then Basti becomes occluded, that the Avritatva, and does not reach its destination. That means it will not reach to the codon. It will not able to evaluate dosha, that is the balance dosha. When in patient with empty stomach, it goes upward as all the channels are uncovered. That means it will not reach to colon, which is expected. What is in Nirobasti, whether it is Nirobasti or Snehavasti or Anvasambasti, that means it is supposed to be in the colon. It is not supposed to be small intestine or stomach. But and that's why the pre-procedure of Snehavasti is important. That Snehavasti should be always at full stomach, or after eating only you are supposed to give the Anuvasan Basti. And Nirovasti you are supposed to use and give at empty stomach. So this is the general thing. Okay. The signs of the different complications will be discussed. Okay. Next to that, we will see now that the Vatavrita Sneha Basti. Okay. So Vatavrita Sneha Basti is nothing but that the Vata dosha initiated is occluded. Okay. Sneha is occluded, or the avaran is there of Vata. So the first symptom is malaise, fever, flatulence, feeling of cold, stiffness, pain in the thighs, cramps in the sides of the chest. When Anuvasan is occluded due to Vata, patient should be given Niruha, prepared with kalka of anxious, that is the oily, sour, and saline, that is the amla dravya and lavan dravya, with hot ingredients. Cow urine, decoction of Brihat Panchamula, Saugiraka, that is the vinegar, Sura, Pola, Kulatha, Yava, along with Rasnaten and Pita Darise. Now, in the evening, Anuvasan of same oils should be given. That means if one has a complication with Mata Snehavyapat, then that patient should be treated with special Niruhavasti of these Amla Rasam, are the hot ingredients. Okay. Next to that, now we will go. And it doesn't mean that the person should not again undergo for the Anuvasan. In the evening, you should administer Anuvasan Basti of the same ingredients. Okay. And its management. If this complication is there, what will be the next manner? There are symptoms: burning sensation, redness, excess thirst, your eyes are the symptoms of a condition. What we have to do is that the enema containing sweet should be. Now you can easily see here how we can elaborate the things that Tatradyam Akamnati Presti the Madhurakta, but which balance pitta. But why Kashaya is not here? Because Kashaya will provoke the Vata. That's why Kashaya is not prescribed here. Okay, only sweet and bitter taste are prescribed. Now, next to that, Kapha Avruta, its management. Now, how it is we can, after giving Basti, if the is cold, fever, lethargy, salivation, anorexia, heaviness, fainting, and depression. These we can say. Okay, the sound is not clear, but I think it is re-established due to poor condition it is happening of network. Okay, so we will continue, friends, again. Okay, so I think it is clear now. If you have a problem, please do ask me. Okay. Administration of enema prepared from alcohol, cow urine, by adding Madanapal Taila along with the astringent, pungent, and Tikshna and Ushna, as well as Amla Dravya, then it is possible to remove the occlusion or impediment by Kapha dosha. Next to that, now we can see here. Okay, sound is clear now. Is it clear now? Okay, we will continue. Thank you. Now, next to that, symptoms and the treatment of impediment due to excess intake of food. In short, in the Shastriya Paribhasha, we should say Annavrita Sneha. Okay, so Annavrita Sneha, how we can detect that the vomiting, fainting, anorexia, depression, colic pain, excess sleep, malaise, signs of asthma, and burning sensation are the signs of Annavrita Sneha Basti. Now, the treatment for or the management for this complication is particularly advised here. First, the Pachana Chikitsa. That's the therapy to improve the digestion. Now, definitely, we have to use the Amapachana Dravya. So, pungent and the saline test. Now, what is the pungent? Is nothing but we call Ushna. Okay, that is chili or the spicy test. That is Katu. And Lavana Dravyas we have to use for this. A mild purgation, that is Mradu Virechana, and especially for digesting Ama, we have to use it. After that, Purishavrata Sneha. Now, what are the symptoms of Purishavrata Sneha? That we will discuss here. Obstruction of passage of stool, urine, and plaques. So these will be the symptoms, or we can say the cardinal symptoms. Okay, and for that we have to treat with oleation, fermentation, and Palavarti. That is the medicated suppository therapy. In every Panchakarma clinic, Palavarti must be there as an emergency management. So they are very useful to remove the obstruction, especially for the Sneha Basti or Niroha Basti. Now for this Purishavrita Sneha, here the recipe of Niruha Basti is prescribed. That is the Shama Bilva followed by Anuvasana again. That means remove the obstruction first and again go for the Anuvasana Basti or Sneha Basti. Next to that, the Udavarta treatment should be followed for this for Purishavrita Sneha. Okay, that is Mridu Anuloma. Udavarta treatment is nothing but the Anuloman Chikitsa. Now the next one is the administration. Symptoms caused by administration of Basti, especially empty stomach. If on empty stomach you will administer the Basti, what will be the symptoms that are described here? So it may be from mild to severe. When Anuvasan is given on empty stomach or on emptied bowel, or if the enema fluid is injected with great force, means very fastly, then it goes up speedily and comes out from the throat or through the orifice in the upper part of the body. Now, it is very severe condition is also described here. Means if it is empty stomach, then it will go till the, we can say, esophagus or till mouth also. So very rarely it happens, but it may happen. So you should not take very easily the Basti procedure. Oil cooked with cow's urine, Shama Trivrita, Yava, Kola, Kulatha. These must be used for giving Nirva and Anuvasan in this condition. If the enema fluid starts coming out of the throat, then the patient should use these Sambhana Dravyas or the therapies. Pressure should be applied over his throat and should be given purgative and anti-emetic therapy. Now, pressure should be applied toward the throat. It should not take in otherwise way. Means you have to give that the doshas or the vitiated doshas or the basti dravyas which is given should go in lower directions only. That we have to see. A simple Stambhan Chikitsa we can do that the cold sponging of upper body part we can do with the cold water. So this is also a Stambhan therapy, and immediately you will get. Now see, sometimes what happens, you may not observe in your practice because you are scholars of Ayurveda now, but there is just anorexia or sometimes horripilation in the mouth, and the patient feels like hyperacidity or like vomiting. So this sensation also indicates that you have given empty stomach Sneha Basti, and that's why it has that complications. Okay. If due to impediment of Sneha Basti is not removed completely or partially, but if no complications are observed, then an expert physician can ignore the condition. Now see where to ignore, that is also thing. If the symptoms are not severe, then you can ignore it. But you should not repeat the same mistake next course of administration of Basti. Now, this is again the general advice or the guidelines for Sneha Basti are given for diet, that after proper Anuvasan Basti, person should go for liquid, hot, light, wholesome food. Now, most of the times we see that why only Gunatmak Vivechan of food article is there. See, according to the time, the name of the vegetables, according to the country, the name of the vegetables or the ingredient, food or the eatable things will change, but it should be of that property. So Ayurveda is Shashwat in that mean, because the Gunatmaka Vivechan or the explanation of the things with properties are there. The property, that kind of property food you have to use, whether it is America, whether it is India or Japan. After intake of this food, in appropriate quantity, the patient may be given Anuvasan Basti on every third day. In the next morning, after the night, the expert physician should give water boiled with dhanyaka and nagar. These two spices are available everywhere in country, almost in every country. So they can be used as a digestive remedy. Or simple warm water can be also used, which help the patient in the digested of undigested fat, that is the Sneha Basti, and disintegrates kapha also. That's why after MSCs, that is the Vaman, purgation, that is Virechan, Niruha, and Anuvasan therapies, warm water is to be given to the patient for elevation of Vata and Kapha. So this is important. Now next is frequency of Anuvasan. That is how many and numbers we have to give. So persons who are habituated to take dry food, that is Rukshahar, having strong digestive capacity, that is good digestive power, indulge with physical exertions, that daily heavy work that person is doing, suffers from Vata disorders, and pelvic and hip regions are afflicted with Vata, which are suffering from the Udavarta also, should be given Anuvasan Basti every day. Means excess Vata increase condition, you are not supposed to give Niruha. Only Anuvasan Basti you can. But that thing, these conditions should be there. As the water falling on the sands get absorbed immediately, here the example of Upama is given. Similarly, the fat given to these patients get immediately digested because of good digestive power, because of dry body. In case of others, the Agni generally digests Sneha in 3 days. Okay, means if these conditions are not there, the person will take about 3 days to digest the that given Anuvasan Basti or Sneha Dravya. Now instructions before, that is the procedure of Basti administration. Now plain or unprocessed fat should not be given for Anuvasan Basti, as it produces should not be that Abhi, some portion of fat should, because it attempts to give complete basti, some portion of what also goes inside. So use of fats orally and through basti simultaneously should be avoided, as it vitiates the vata and agni. So these are the common things, because sometimes we do advise shamana sneha also by oral or by mouth. In that case, we should ask the patient to stop their intake of oil, siddha sneha, in any form, siddha oil or siddha ghee. Now, importance of alternate administration of Sneha and Niruha. Why it is always recommended that it should be alternate. Then Karma Basti, Kala Basti, Yoga Basti, 30, 15 and 8. You know. and in that a particular numbers are prescribed here, and one should always starts with the Anuvasan Basti and will end with the Anuvasan Basti. In that case, either Niruha or Anuvasan should not be given continuously in excess, as continuous Anuvasan causes Uklesha, okay, that is the excitement of dosha, and suppression of digestive power, that is Agnimatra. So continuous excess Niruha causes Vata aggravation. Hence, Niruha Basti, the patient should be given Anuvasan, and after Anuvasan Basti, Niruha should be administered. Then only Basti therapy cures the disease caused by all three doshas. Means whatever the uh, abnormal dosha is, that we can cure. Now we'll go for the Matra Basti. Matra Basti, we know that the Matra word is for the less dose. Okay, so this is the type of Sneha Basti in which there is a small dose of medicated oil, useful for persons emaciated by excess activities, exercise, whom to give. Now this list is given, or the indications for Matra Bhakti are given here: weightlifting, long way faring, riding vehicles, or individual in sexual intercourse, and for persons who are weak and afflicted with Vatika disorders. Means increased Vata conditions, one has to go for Matra Bhakti. While taking it, the person can take food and do the activities as per liking. Means whatever the profession that person is having, he or she can follow it. Doses are equal to minimum dose of the elevation therapy. That is the Rasiyasi Matra. Now what can be it according to again the age of the patient? One can start with just 20 ml also. Or if it is a baby, then one can go for only 5 ml or 10 ml also. That promotes the strength and can be administered easily, helps in easy voiding of stool, that is, it acts as an anuloman also, causes nourishment and cures the disease caused by aggravated vata. Now here we are at the end of this topic, that Tatra Shloko, that is the summary. Okay, it is a we can say recap of what we have learned in this topic. So Basti prepared for Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Those recipes are described first. Then complications arising from improper administration and their management is also described. Diet before administration is described. Then whom to give Basti every day, for whom it is indicated on the every third day. That also we have seen in this chapter. Method of administration of Anuvasan and Matra Basti are also explained. So here we complete this chapter. Okay. If you have question, please do ask, and I will try to answer those questions. Okay.